Are you a stable player? Do you want to get into laser? Are you attracted to men? If your answer to all three of these questions is yes, well, you are in luck, my friend. Today we're taking a look into what you, as a stable player, need to know when switching to laser. Let's get into it. When you first start the game, you will be greeted with the first run setup. If you played laser before, go to settings and click on run setup wizard. Now that everyone's on the same page, go ahead and press next a few times until you get to this screen. Here make sure all of the checkboxes are checked and click on import. This will make sure that all your skins, maps and collections you had on stable will be carried over to laser as well. Next, you will be greeted with this behavior screen. If you feel like getting the authentic laser experience, click on new defaults and click finish. If you want the game to feel closer to stable, however, you will need to check a few checkboxes. First of all, select classic defaults, then set the hold to confirm activation time to around 160 milliseconds. This setting is responsible for how long you need to hold the quick retry key to trigger a retry, which on stable is around 160 milliseconds, so that's what we're setting it to here. Now scroll down to the gameplay category and set the score display mode to standardized. The way laser calculates a score is by taking the maximum possible score on the map and doing some fancy math to figure out how many % of it you actually got. For example, in standardized scoring, the maximum score is always 1 million. So if you got 550k, that means you got 55% of the maximum score. To convert this to classic scoring, laser will look up what the maximum possible score v1 score on the map is, and then calculate what 55% of it would be. This is a bit confusing and is not how scoring works in stable, so I recommend just setting this to standardized. I hope that made at least a little bit of sense. Another thing you want to turn on is show health display when you can't fail. This just makes it so you can see your HP when playing no fail. It's a really minor thing, but it's cool to have. And with that, first run setup is complete. Now as for other settings. Since laser has a built-in tablet driver, you're gonna have to choose if you want to use it or not. If you want to keep using your current driver, go ahead and disable the built-in one. Otherwise, disable your current one and set your area here. Next up, go to gameplay, scroll down, and turn off fade playfield to red when health is low. Most people don't know this, but this setting actually exists in stable as well, it just isn't turned on by default. I don't know why it is in laser, but make sure to turn that off. While you're here, might as well turn off hit lighting and star fountains, as those are a bit annoying and also reduce your FPS. Which, speaking of FPS, if your game is lagging, go down to graphics and make sure that your threading mode is set to multi-threaded. If it's still lagging, try switching to a different renderer. If it's still lagging regardless of which one you choose, I am sorry, but your PC just isn't good enough to run laser. You can also try lowering the resolution, but if that doesn't help either, you should probably stick to stable for the time being. By the way, if you can't see the resolution setting, it's because you're not running the game in full screen. With performance out of the way, it's time to talk about offset. First of all, no matter what settings you use, laser audio will always feel different. It is just a fact, and you will just have to accept that. That being said, here's what you can do to make it feel better. By default, laser uses a low latency audio engine that makes the delay from when you click to when you hear the hit sound basically zero. This makes the game feel very different from stable, but that's not inherently a bad thing. Most people actually prefer it over the legacy engine, so I would recommend definitely giving it a try. If you decide you don't like it, however, you can always turn it off in the settings here. Another thing you should try is playing around with your offset. Laser has this very cool feature that allows you to automatically adjust offset based on your recent plays. So go ahead and play a few maps, then click apply suggested offset and see if that makes the game feel any better. Now once again, laser will never feel exactly like stable. So at some point you will just have to decide which combination of settings you dislike the least and get used to playing with those. Another thing you might want to do before playing is edit your skin. Simply press Ctrl-Shift-S on any screen and you will be greeted with the laser skin editor. You can add new skin elements by clicking on them in the left panel and moving them wherever you want. Things you might want to add are a PP counter, a judgment counter, maybe a current BPM counter. There is a lot of things you can add, so take a look through them and see which ones you like the most. And that about sums up the settings side of switching. Now on to random info that you might want to know as a fresh laser player. You can download new maps directly from the game by clicking here. If you can't find the map you're looking for, it's because you have the featured artist only filter turned on. You can disable that by clicking here. Some mods on lazer behave differently than they do on stable. For example, you can still fail while playing relaxed, and autopilot is simply unplayable. You can check if your current mod combination is ranked by looking in the bottom right corner. If you want to play lazer ranked against a friend, you need to first be on the ranked play screen, then go to dashboard, right click and click on duo. The classic mod on lazer is not the same as playing stable. That is because notelock with classic is way worse than notelock on stable. Lazer score calculation is not the same as score v2. It is usually regarded as score v3. Lazer has slider head accuracy. If you cry about this online, you have a massive skill issue. Drop slider ants or these gray miscounts can be removed by adding an empty slider miss.png to your skin folder. You can find a link to a Reddit post explaining how to do that in the description below. And that about sums up everything you need to know about switching to lazer. If you found this video helpful, leave a like so that more people see it. Let me know what made you switch to lazer or why you haven't yet in the comments. And with that, I thank you all for watching and hope to see you next time. Bye!